Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are going straight into a deep dive.
Yeah.
Into something I think you'll find fascinating, and that's locksmithing and safe services in Toronto.
Right.
Specifically through the work of Timur Sadhi,
Interesting.
who, based on the material that you shared with me, owns 4 businesses in this space.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. I'm glad we're taking a look.
So our mission today is to go beyond just like the surface of, okay, this guy's a locksmith.
Right.
To like really understand how he has built such a significant presence
Yeah.
in an industry that a lot of people don't even think about.
Yeah, it's kind of behind the scenes.
And he really has, as one of the sources that you gave me put it, become synonymous with excellence in this field in the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, we think about locksmiths, we think about, oh, I'm locked out of my house, I need to call somebody.
Yeah.
But when we look at Timur Sadhi's work, it's clear that he's kind of elevated this trade
Yeah.
into something a little more nuanced. And that's evidenced through his 4 businesses.
Okay.
He has a real entrepreneurial vision
Yeah.
to create these distinct entities.
Right.
And to really cater to the nuances within the security sector.
Okay, so let's dig into that because according to what you sent over, Timur's journey didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It wasn't just a whim.
Right.
Like he had a genuine interest early on in how things work, mechanics, problem solving.
I see. Yeah.
It wasn't just unlocking a door, it was the intricate mechanics behind security itself.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like that fascination then developed into a deeper understanding that being a locksmith is fundamentally about providing something more than just like access, right?
Absolutely.
It's that feeling of safety.
Yeah, peace of mind.
Yeah.
It's an essential human need
Absolutely.
to feel safe and secure.
Yeah, okay. So would you say that this initial curiosity is what fueled his ambition?
Oh, absolutely. It provided the foundation for sure.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, it's about that deeper human need, that need for security.
Yeah.
And the material you shared really emphasizes his early dedication. The rigorous training that he went through,
Right.
the hands-on experience, the strong work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't shortcut trust when you're dealing with people's peace of mind.
No, absolutely not. And it looks like all of that allowed him to build this really interesting structure of 4 distinct businesses.
Yeah, that really jumped out at me when I was going through the research.
Okay, so let's walk through these quickly
Okay.
for our listeners.
Sure.
The first one is called A+ Services Toronto Locksmith.
Okay.
This, just based on the description, looks like the central pillar,
I see.
offering a huge range of services.
Right.
Like everything from, you're locked out of your house in the middle of the night
Yeah.
or your car,
Uh-huh.
all the way to a full commercial security system.
Right.
They even handle some automotive stuff, too.
Oh, wow.
And they've been around for over 15 years,
Mhm.
according to the material you sent.
Yeah, so clearly a well-established presence.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm curious, from what you were reading, what kind of stood out to you about that business?
I mean, the first thing that stood out to me was, like, the range.
Right.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're putting an emphasis on quality and affordability,
Yeah.
which seems like a really hard combination.
Yeah, how do you do both?
Yeah.
I mean, it suggests a very conscious effort
Yeah.
to make good, reliable security accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Not just the people with the money to spend on these super high-end systems.
Right.
So it's interesting how they pull that off.
Then we've got the safe and vault shop.
Okay.
And this is where I think the specialization you mentioned really comes in.
Yeah, this is a real niche.
Yeah. They're totally focused on safes and vaults.
Right.
Every kind of safe you can imagine, eye security, fireproof. I mean, they even sell gun safes, but it's not just selling them, right?
Right.
They open, crack, install.
Yeah, they do it all.
They even restore old safes.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What did you think about that when you were going through the material?
I think by having a separate business,
Right.
completely focused on safes and vaults,
Yeah.
he's sending a signal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a signal of expertise.
Yeah.
If you're a business and you have a specific need for a safe, you know where to go.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to some guy who just does regular locks.
Right, right.
They might not have the experience with a complex safe.
Yeah.
And the range of services, like you mentioned, from combination changes to, actually opening a locked safe,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of specialized skills. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Okay.
So what's next?
Building on that even further,
Okay.
we have Safe Locksmith, Toronto Safecracker.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good name.
Yeah, and this one is even more specific than the safe and vault shop. So it's, I mean, the name says it all. It's safe cracking,
Yeah.
but like the professional kind.
Right, not breaking into your neighbor's place.
Right, right. So this is like expert safe opening, ideally without causing damage.
Right.
Repair, maintenance, even moving these huge safes.
Yeah, those things are heavy.
Yeah. So this is, again, this is a specific, very refined skill set.
What struck me about this business is the branding.
Okay.
You know, they use the term safecracker, but there's this clear implication that they're going to do the job professionally without making a mess.
Right.
So again, it's about expertise, about mastery.
Yeah.
It's catering to a very specific need.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a problem with your safe, you don't just need somebody to open a lock. You need somebody with really specific skills.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, according to your research, the last piece of the puzzle is Timson Locksmith Toronto,
Okay.
which actually offers, again, quite a wide range of services: emergency, residential, commercial, automotive.
Wow. So kind of back to the generalist approach.
Yeah, a little bit, but this one really highlights fast response times and affordability.
Interesting.
So it's almost like another generalist arm, but maybe focused more on speed
Okay.
when it's something more common.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you look at all four of these businesses,
Yeah.
it really is a strategic approach, right? It's not just about bringing in money from different places.
Yeah.
It's really about understanding all the different security needs that people have
Right.
and offering really focused expertise in each area.
Yeah.
So somebody who just needs a quick lock repair,
Right.
they might call A+,
Right.
or Timson if they're in a hurry.
Yeah.
But if you need a high security vault installed,
Yeah.
you're going to call the safe and vault shop.
Yeah.
Or if you need a complex safe opened,
Right.
Toronto Safecracker is the place to call.
Right.
So it's fascinating how he's segmented the market.
So do you think this specialization is what's led to his success?
Oh, absolutely. I think it allows for a much deeper understanding
Yeah.
of each specific market segment.
Right.
You know, he can develop really tailored skills, services, and even marketing approaches.
Right.
It's a way more sophisticated approach than just being, you know, a general locksmith.
Okay.
So it begs the question,
Yeah.
what are the principles,
Yeah.
you know, the fundamental principles
Right.
that have driven this success?
Okay. So the research points to a couple of things.
Okay.
The first one is a real customer-centric approach.
Okay.
Like the idea that high-quality security solutions should be available to everyone.
Right.
It's a core belief.
It's not just about serving the wealthy or the businesses with complex needs.
Right.
It's about everyday security concerns.
Right. Exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the fact that they emphasize accessibility
Right.
alongside quality, it's telling.
Yeah.
It suggests that they really are committed to serving a broad market.
Right.
And ensuring that security isn't a luxury.
Yeah.
You know, everybody should have access to it.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, though, you know,
What's that?
how do they maintain those quality standards
Right.
while also being affordable?
Yeah.
Are there efficiencies in their model that we don't see?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second principle that really stands out, according to the research, is this commitment to excellence and innovation.
Oh, absolutely. The security industry, it's not static.
No, it's always changing.
You've got new technologies,
Yeah.
smart locks, biometrics.
Yeah, safes are getting crazy.
Right. And it sounds like Timur Sadhi's businesses really make an effort to stay on top of these things.
Yeah,
Investing in the latest tech, getting their people trained.
absolutely.
It's impressive.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think in an industry where the threats are always changing,
Yeah.
that commitment to staying up to date is crucial.
Right.
You know, they're not just reacting to the changes.
Yeah,
They're trying to anticipate them.
right.
That's smart.
Absolutely. Okay, and the last big principle here is, you can't talk about security without talking about integrity and trust.
Right. Of course, you're dealing with people's safety,
Yeah.
their possessions.
Yeah.
Trust is paramount.
Right.
You have to be able to trust the people who are handling your security.
Yeah, and the research really focuses on how important professionalism and just like high-quality workmanship is
Yeah.
to building and maintaining trust, which makes sense. I mean, that's got to be a key factor in his success.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, trust is the foundation of this whole industry.
Yeah.
You know, you're letting these people into your home,
Right.
into your business. You're
Yeah.
entrusting them with your security.
Yeah.
So a strong reputation for integrity and reliable, high-quality service, that's invaluable.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that sets Timur Sadhi's businesses apart.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, the sources mention this vision for ongoing expansion and growth.
Yeah, he's not content to just rest on his laurels. He
Right.
wants to keep growing, keep reaching more people.
Yeah, maybe even beyond the GTA.
It speaks to his drive.
Yeah.
You know, that entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
He sees the potential for more.
Okay, so now let's talk about the challenges.
Okay.
Because obviously running a business, let alone 4 businesses, in a field as demanding as security is going to have its own set of challenges.
Of course. Nothing's easy.
So one of the first ones that was mentioned is just the 24/7 nature of it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right, emergency services.
You've got to be available all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Imagine somebody's locked out of their house at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or there's a break-in.
Yeah.
You need to be able to respond.
Yeah, and quickly.
Quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of organization, a lot of people. It's a huge commitment.
Yeah, it's a logistical nightmare. Managing schedules, making sure people are where they need to be,
Yeah.
and then dealing with these high-stress situations.
Right.
It's a lot.
Absolutely. Okay, and then there's, like we were talking about before, constantly staying ahead of the tech curve.
Yeah, innovation is great, but it's also a challenge.
Right.
Security systems are getting more and more complex.
Yeah.
You need to constantly be learning, investing in new tools.
Absolutely.
You can't be using outdated techniques
Right.
when you're dealing with modern security threats.
Yeah, it's a constant evolution.
What do you think about that?
Well, it just highlights how much learning is involved.
Yeah,
Not just the initial training,
right.
but like constantly updating your skills.
It's a continuous process.
Yeah, okay. And then another challenge that was brought up is finding and keeping good people.
Yeah, that's a tough one in any industry.
Yeah, but especially when it's, you need these highly skilled locksmiths, safe experts.
You need people you can trust.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds like Timur Sadhi really focuses on employee development
Yeah.
to make sure that the quality of service is consistent across all his businesses.
Right.
That's smart.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a reminder that the people are just as important as the technology.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can have the fanciest locks in the world,
Right.
but if you don't have skilled, trustworthy people to install and maintain them,
Yeah.
it's all for nothing.
Right.
So investing in your team is crucial.
Okay, so looking at the big picture,
Okay.
what's the impact of all of this?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Timur Sadhi has really shaped the locksmith and safe services industry in Toronto.
Yeah.
He's not just running 4 successful businesses.
Yeah.
He's raised the bar
Right.
for everybody.
Yeah, in terms of service, in terms of specialization, in terms of trust.
Exactly.
So what do you think his legacy will be?
I think it'll be that commitment to quality,
Yeah.
to customer satisfaction,
Right.
to innovation.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just securing properties.
Yeah.
He's building trust with the community.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm.
Okay, so to sum it all up, what have we learned today?
Well, I think Timur Sadhi's story is a great example of how specialization, customer focus, and a dedication to learning and adapting can lead to huge success,
Yeah.
even in a field that people might not think about a lot.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
His 4 companies are proof that you can take a traditional industry
Yeah.
and find new, innovative ways to serve customer needs.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I have one last thought for everyone listening.
Okay, shoot.
We've been talking about, the locks, the safes, the physical security.
Right.
But what about all the security that we don't see?
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
The stuff that happens behind the scenes that
Right.
keeps us safe.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. So, think about that.
That's a good point.
What other essential services are out there
Yeah.
with these stories of dedication and innovation?
The unsung heroes.
Yeah, exactly. That's something to think about.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It was fascinating.